You forecasting more snow tomorrow?
I'll call the February 18, 2019 City Council meeting to order. Call of the roll.
John Hawkins,
Here.
Matt McKinney, Brian Miller, Jim Talbot,
Here.
Logan Welch.
Here.
Call for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item A, petitions, communications and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda. Except in cases of emergency, the City Council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter or have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Anyone have anything? Anyone have any public?
Yeah, I'll just make note, we're joined tonight by the Weeblos 2, Den 3 from Pack 583 tonight. Looks like we have 5 soon-to-be Boy Scouts out in the crowd, so thanks for joining us.
We have food bank tomorrow afternoon,
Yes,
isn't it?
at St. Thomas.
4 o'clock at St. Thomas. Other than that, can't think of much else. We'll do a proclamation on Honeybee Day, February 27th. Would Donnie Ryhard come up to the podium? Representatives?
Where are you gonna do that?
Come on over here.
Over there?
Yeah. That way the camera's set up for that.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to say anything, then you got to speak. You want to say?
This
Thanks.
is Jackie, I'm gonna have her.
Jackie,
Okay.
did you want to
This is
say
John.
something about it before do you want me to read the proclamation, or do you want to say something first?
I'll let you read the proclamation first. And then
Okay. Honeybee Day is February 27th. Whereas honeybees and native insects are important as pollinators for a third of the food we eat, and honeybees are vital in production of over 90 crops grown across the nation, many of which are in Iowa. Honeybees contribute to a healthy Iowa environment by assuring availability of fruits, vegetables, nuts, flowers, wildlife, and all Iowans. Whereas Iowa's 45,000 or more honeybee hives produce about 4 million pounds of honey, valued at over 8 million. The honeybees provide an estimated 92 million economic value in Iowa crops with their pollination. Whereas Iowa has over 4,500 beekeepers representing hobbyists, sideliners as part-time businesses, and full-time commercial beekeepers. Hobby beekeepers have one hive to commercial operations with thousands of hives. Traditionally, beekeeping occurred in rural areas of Iowa. Now beekeeping increasingly occurs in urban areas with the rising interest of hobby beekeepers for keeping beehives in Iowa cities and towns. Whereas the state of Iowa has an active apiary inspection program and protect honeybees and beekeepers from the introduction of spread of apiary diseases and pests. Whereas honeybees face serious threats from the invasive pests, decreasing bee-friendly forage, variable climate, and increasing pesticide and herbicide pressure. Now therefore, I, John Hawkins, Mayor of City of Webster City, Iowa, do hereby proclaim February 27th, 2019 as Honeybee Day in Webster City, Iowa, in conjunction with the state-designated Honeybee Day, and encourage all citizens and residents to observe this day and focusing on the importance of honeybees in our economy, to enjoy the honey and other products of honeybees, to recognise the honeybees' role and maintain our environment, and assist in reducing the threats to honeybee survival in our area.
Thank you. Go ahead and talk. You wanna wear a helmet?
Should I have been wearing this in the first place?
So I'm a representative of the Boone River Bee Club. We have a very thriving group right here in town, and probably the 4 surrounding counties we draw people from. There is a statewide organization, the Iowa Honey Producers, which is very, very active. We have our, in the legislature and every place, because we are now considered a, we're considered with animals the same as what pigs and cows and stuff, so we're regulated, so we're needing to have a little bit of legislative power to get some bills passed to help protect our honeybees. And thank you all for proclaiming the 27th as Honeybee Day. We'll be down at the state capitol, 7 o'clock in the morning that day. If you want to come down and join us, they're having a raffle, or not a free raffle basket that's going to be given away to the public. So, so if you have any information, I have cards for our website for the Boone River Bee Club. Otherwise, we have a Facebook page under the same thing. Look it up. Ask to join, and I'll make you a member, and you can see what our group is actively doing right now. So, thank you all.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes.
Terry, I set them up there. They have to share. There's only
Awesome.
4. They came from the former queen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Can I have one of your cards? Do you have a card with you? Okay, thank you.
Sweeten you up.
Add it to my diet Coke.
Okay, B, minutes and claims. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item 1, minutes in February 4th and February 11th special session and February 11th budget work session. A resolution on payroll for period ending February 2nd and paid on February 8th. Resolution on bills and the funds list.
I move to approve 1, 2, and 3 collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. C is general agenda. Item 1 is a resolution accepting and executing easements from the Hamilton County Board of Supervisors and Stephen Pepple and Jenny Pepple in connection with the 2019 Millards Lane Box Culvert Replacement Project. Ken, did you want to talk about that at all?
It's pretty straightforward. I would answer any questions that you would have.
I figured you had to
The
get,
west side of the box culvert is the county's, and therefore we needed an easement from them. The east side of the culvert is the Pepples, and we therefore needed an easement from, 2 easements from them because of the legal descriptions.
yeah. Well, it's pretty straightforward, so, yeah. Call for a motion.
So moved. Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, public hearings, 5:35, we're past that. Item A is public hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for the 2019 Millards Lane Culvert Replacement Project. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections?
Close the hearing. Ken, over to you.
Again, this is pretty straightforward. This is that, the reconstruction of that box culvert. We bid it both, I guess the contractor has the option of whether or not to, cast it in place concrete or to, give us a precast box culvert. Both ways are, acceptable by the Iowa DOT, therefore we've accepted that process. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, I'll call for a motion on resolution finally approving and confirming plans and specifications and form of contract and estimate of costs for the 2019 Millards Lane Box Culvert Replacement Project.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I will call for a motion and resolution awarding contract for the 2019 Millards Lane Box Culvert Replacement Project to Progressive Structures, Elkader, Iowa, in the amount of $152,899.25.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. B is a public hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for the Ingraham water main project. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections? Maybe
No
this-
oral objections?
Maybe they were calling in for one. All right, Ken, it's over to you.
This is, we have a water main that is exposed in a drainage ditch, and it's cast iron water main, and we're lucky that it hasn't frozen and burst. And that being the case, we need to take care of it, and what we're going to do is directional bore under the existing water main to put it down lower, and we're going to use high-density polyethylene, so it will not be a problem ever again, hopefully, so that's the project.
Okay. Well, we've been a while getting around to it, haven't we? Getting all the ducks in a row.
Yeah, it's taken a while because of the CBDG
Yeah.
funding.
Okay, I'll call for you guys got any questions on it?
No.
Call for a motion on the resolution finally approving and confirming plans and specifications and form of contract and estimate of costs for the Ingraham water main project, repair project.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. I'll call for a motion on the resolution awarding contract for the Ingraham water main repair project to Summers Enterprise, Inc., Masonville, Iowa, in the amount of $124,512.50.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
We like alternate.
You should. This is a little unusual for us tonight. We usually have a few more people here, but
We're the diehards. We take no vacations.
C, public hearing on proposed plans and specifications, proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for the 2019 street improvement project. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections?
Okay, Ken?
I thought, well, there's not a map, but you have seen a map on a previous memo. This will be Broadway Street north of James Street, and then it'll take John Street, both sides of Broadway, and then as it goes north, it'll also take William Street. It'll also do the first two blocks east of Beach Street. In one of those intersections, we have a manhole that is in dire need of replacement, and so we're gonna replace that and do some intake work there also, so
Is that on Water Street?
that's on Water Street. That's the project. You can see in the memo, we came in just a little bit over the, what the engineer's estimate, but man, I think we gotta take it.
Okay. Call for a motion?
So moved. Second.
Well, I've got to read the whole thing first.
We'll wait.
Call for a motion on the resolution finally approving and confirming plans and specifications and form of contract and estimate of costs for the 2019 street improvement project. So, Paul, we had the motion.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Call for a motion on the resolution awarding contract for the 2019 street improvement project to Heartland Asphalt Incorporated of Mason City, Iowa, in the amount of $544,098.30.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. D is a public hearing on proposed sale of city-owned property located in Lawn Hill Addition, Webb City, Iowa, 1421 Second Street. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections.
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections?
Carla?
Or
Or
is
Elise?
here
We'll bring
too.
Elise up.
Sorry.
She's hiding out in the back corner.
So this property is one of the properties we've actually taken as an abandoned property. We have gone out to bid for 5 of the properties, and this is one of them that actually received a really nice bid. And the people are here tonight if you'd like to ask them any questions about their potential rehab.
One question I have, and it pertains to all of them. Let's see, it'd be items D through G. I didn't see anywhere in the council memorandum that we had other bids. Did any of them receive multiple bids?
They all received multiple
Okay,
bids.
we're just seeing the highest, right?
Right.
Okay.
And I do want to point out that this is, these are real estate contracts, so what is being done is similar to other ones we've done in town where city sells it, especially if it needs rehabbed, they pay 90% down and then they have a year to complete the work. Building inspector comes out, inspects it, says, yep, looks good, they pay the remaining 10% and then they get a deed at that time. So they don't do anything, they lose the 90%. So.
Might as well wait there.
Fair enough.
Call for a motion on resolution approving an executed real estate contract conveying city-owned property at Lawn Hill Addition to Webster City, Iowa, to Louis O. Silas Martinez and Anna Elizabeth Swan Torrens.
So
Is
moved.
that right? Get it close?
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. E is a public hearing on proposed sale of city-owned property. Property located in Dubuque and Pacific Railroad Addition, Webster City, Iowa, at 827 Water Street. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections.
I will close the hearing. I'll call on Elise.
There again,
Talk
this
about
is another property in the same state. We took it as an abandoned property, also going to be a real estate contract. This one is actually with a gentleman we already have a contract with, Tony Sponsel, and he's done a remarkable job on the property he currently has, and I see potential for him to do it with this one as well.
Okay.
I move to approve.
Second.
I'll call for a I better read it, hadn't I?
Yeah.
Isn't that what I gotta do? Call for a motion on resolution approving executed real estate contract, approving execution real estate contract conveying city-owned property in Dubuque and Pacific Railroad Addition in Webster City, Iowa, to Tony and Betty Ann Sponsel.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. It could make worse, you know, we could roll call them all.
Just prolong it, Con.
Okay. F is a public hearing on proposed sale of city-owned property located in Wilson Funk and Co.'s Addition, Webster City, Iowa, at 921 James Street. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections? This little fellow down here should have something to say. He should speak up. He should say something.
No oral objections?
Okay. I'll close the hearing. Same again.
Same thing, we'll also have
So-
a real estate contract. This is to rehab this property as well.
Yeah. I'll call for a motion on resolution approving executed real estate contract, conveying city-owned property in Wilson Funk and Co.'s Addition to Webster City, Iowa, to Russell E. Morton.
So
The
moved.
second.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. G is a public hearing on proposed sale of city-owned property located in Jones and Smith's Addition of Webb City, Iowa, at 806 Stockdale Street. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections?
I'll close the hearing. I call on for a motion on the resolution approving an executed deal of real estate contract, approving executed real estate contract conveying city-owned property in Jones and Smith's addition in Webster City, Iowa, to Jeremy and Elise Tim.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. H is a public hearing on proposed to enter into an electric revenue refunding loan agreement and to borrow money thereunder in a principal amount not to exceed $13,900,000. I will open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No written objections?
Are there any oral objections?
No oral objections?
Dodie, did you want to say anything on this one? Or do you? Paul Scanner? Okay.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. You have a resolution that would authorize the issuance of not to exceed $13,900,000 in electric revenue refunding bonds. This is a refinancing of your existing 2012 bond issue. The existing issue is currently outstanding at a 5.35% rate. Under today's current market conditions, if you were to sell the bonds today, that rate is estimated to be about 4.3%, which would generate about $40,000 a year in annual savings going forward. The debt service on these bonds is repaid by the electric utility, and you additionally have a subsequent agreement with Corn Belt Cooperative that pays the principal and interest and the costs of this refinancing. So, any
Okay.
questions? I'll be here to answer them.
Just to be blunt, we're saving money.
Absolutely.
Okay, people like to hear that.
It's unusual the interest rates going
Yeah.
down, isn't it? That's what,
Rates are moving in your favor currently.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
yeah.
true.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I'll call for a motion on the resolution taking additional action on proposal to enter into an electric revenue refunding loan agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Looks like we're done with those. Item 3 on the agenda is a recommended approval for issuance of a beer and liquor licences by the Iowa Department of Commerce for the following: a renewal of a Class B beer permit, outdoor service and Sunday sales for Hamilton County Speedway, TTMM Promotions LLC at 1200 Bluff Street, and a renewal of a Class B native wine permit, living quarters Heart and Home at 1223 Superior Street.
I move to approve A and B collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. 4 is a motion to setting a time and place for a public hearing for 2019-2020 capital improvement budget and a 2019-2020 through 2023-2024 capital improvement plan for March 4th at 5:35 PM.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 5 is a motion setting time and place for a public hearing on proposed 2019-2020 budget at March 4 at 5:35 PM.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 6 is a resolution providing for notice of hearing on proposed plans and specifications and proposed form of contract and estimate of cost for construction of a 2018-2019 electrical underground conversion project for April 1st at 5:35 PM. This is the splitting up of that.
This is basically same project. We've decreased the project area and sending it back out to bid.
Do we feel more optimistic this time because of the changes, or are we kind of just tweaking it?
I hope so. We've tried to tweak it a little bit.
And didn't you extend the completion date too, as well?
Tried to a little bit, but I don't know if we'll,
Yeah.
hopefully we can get this accomplished.
And for the public's sake, I know we've discussed this in length, but this is just basically a outsourcing some, a contractor to give it a shot in the arm to get back on pace for underground, goal to be completely underground. Is that correct?
Correct. What, that whole underground or overhead to underground conversion, we have like a 25-year plan, and we're falling a little bit behind because of the amount of work induced to us. Every time someone builds a new house, every time someone puts in a new, Dollar Tree or something like that, and then it causes us to do some more underground work, or we're trying to do it underground. So this area though, these two areas, which are area 1 and 2, really need to get done. We really need to get these, because they're the ones that are causing us most problems last summer.
No, very good, and we're just sending it out to bid at this point.
Right.
Yep. And the next one's the same. 7's the other half of it.
Yeah.
If there's no other questions, I move to approve.
Yeah, second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item 7 is a resolution providing for notice on hearing on proposed plans and specifications, a proposed form of contract, an estimate of costs for furnishing materials for the 2018-19 electrical underground conversion project for April 1st at 5:35 PM.
Nothing more to add, right? Okay.
Other than we get a better price by us buying the materials, going out for bid for the materials rather than the contractor furnishing the materials.
Is that possibly hindering some of the bids?
No.
No? Okay, just check.
No.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Item 8 is a second reading on proposed ordinance, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Webster City, Iowa, 1996 by amending Chapter 185 pertaining to sidewalks. This is a second reading, so
We haven't, have you heard any negative pushback from any
haven't
business
heard.
owners downtown, or?
you haven't heard anything?
I personally have not.
I haven't.
I've just heard some people discussing it, as far as putting a brick in and things like that. I mean, it goes back 20 years, I believe, so.
I move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Since this is non-controversial, is there a possibility we can waive the third reading?
We can't waive.
I don't think, since there's only 3 of you here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're,
Yeah.
I was
I'm-
thinking of that.
In no hurry, and
No,
I guess
it
it's the
doesn't.
first instance we've been in with that, with me on the council, but no,
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine. No hurry, just,
It's one of those,
We need
Idiosyncrasies.
3/4 council in order to
gotcha.
be able to waive a reading.
No hurry.
All right,
Here's proxy.
so you'll see it on the next meeting.
Item 9 is a resolution establishing a nuisance at 411 Prospect Street, ordering the abatement thereof. So, Elise, Carla, who's come up for this one?
So you guys have, the memo in front of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hold on a second, let me bring it up real quick. So typically, we allow someone 30 days for repairs. And that's basically, what we go out saying is they take 30 days to repair it. Now, they've come back requesting, almost a year's time to get it repaired. Therefore, we're coming before the council. They're actually here tonight to talk about it. You guys have a copy of their request and their letter as well, I believe.
Yep.
And that's way past what, I'm allowed to actually offer is a year's time, so.
I have no questions for Elise, but if the.
Did you want to come up and present something to us, or? Can you just state your name, and we need an address as well?
No,
I'll
just-
get the address. So just let us know your name so that Carol can write it down for the.
Brian Hubbard. Matthew Hubbard.
Thank you.
Go for it.
I guess to start off, what kind of questions do you guys have for us?
Sure. One of the questions I had, for your proposed, timeline, if it will, for the repairs, it seems like there's some lag and some engineered beams and items like that for the building materials. As Elise kind of mentioned, going this far out, over a year out, that's kind of a stretch for us to do. So can you guys just kind of elaborate on kind of your plans to refurbish the building and what that will detail?
Right, so the year time frame, that's based on coming up with the capital resources to get everything, which we've been working on that, talking with the bank and things like that nature. We have in there, you know, if we can get the financial resources secured, we had 6 months for a time frame. Is that something that's more manageable for you guys, or do we need something more reasonable than that?
Well, you know, like, sometimes we get these issues in front of us, and unfortunately, sometimes timeframes are not really set in stone, you know?
Right.
So when we start with one that long, and then it's, you know, it sometimes gets kind of lost in the day-to-day whirlwind of the city operations, and then when it comes to that point where, okay, we gotta enforce it, then usually we're back here again asking for more time, you know, and so that, so.
Sure.
I'm more comfortable with a solid date, no matter how long it is, as long as it's something that we can all agree on and it's just a firm date. You know,
Okay.
that's what I really wanna see. Because again, just over the past few years, we've kinda had this, push it out type issue, and I'm not putting that on you guys, this is just from prior instances we've seen on this council. So, when these come in front of our desk, I gotta ask those hard questions, like, how confident are you that you're gonna be able to do this in this time frame? Because to me, these time frames are hard, not soft, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Have you got the, your finances, were you still trying to get something approved?
Yeah,
for
we're
that?
still working on that.
So if you don't get the finances, then you can't go ahead and,
Then we need the year. We have to buy the materials a lot of time to afford to do everything we need to
Okay.
do.
so if you get the finances, then you can do it
Then we'll be able
fairly
to move
quickly.
ahead.
Yeah, if we can, once we know for sure if we can get the financing, then we can establish that definite time frame. That's just the hinge factor for us, is just trying to keep the cost manageable and then still try to get it done in a reasonable time frame.
I have two questions, if I may. That building's been there for quite a while. What was that prior to you guys buying it?
Let's see, Trash Man had it at one time, the roof, Webster Roofing was in there. Ron Hemmon had it for refurbishing, scratch and dent models on washer dryers.
Yeah, no, I just don't, I mean, I drive by a lot, and I've just seen
Right.
that, and I guess my concern is, I think I share that, at least we're here addressing the issue. So I want to compliment Elise and the city on that, and also for you, coming in here tonight, because we've had a lot of situations in the past just don't get addressed. And the other part is the communication aspect of it. I mean, if something doesn't go according to schedule, then I think it's incumbent that you get a hold of the city, I mean, specifically Elise or Carla, so they are aware of what's going on, so that they can keep the council appraised.
Right.
We rely on them because they're the experts, they're the professionals, and, we're here twice a month, or so to speak. And so, it's incumbent that you keep them informed so they can keep us informed then, so, because we will get questions, from the public on things like that, so.
And we do have, there's a few improvements we've started on. It was brought up that we've got some windows that are exposed and just a safety aspect to get those dealt with. And then another portion of a wall that needed to be restructured, and we've started on that. Let's see here. And we've got the materials and everything's there, we've already started, we have the permits and everything on that, and we've moved forward with that already.
One more question, for you guys. What is your intention with the building? Like, what do you intend to use it for?
Just storage, more or less.
Storage,
There was a property we used beforehand for storing equipment, materials, and we were told we weren't allowed to use that, so we acquired this one. And just, outside storage for, like I said, equipment, dump trucks, stuff like that, and then dry storage inside.
So, looking at this, ideally, this is kind of what I have in my head coming in this meeting, is obviously you're still in the capital phase. So, again, amongst my fellow council members, would you guys be comfortable with maybe looking at this again in a month? I think a month is a window that they could obtain capital through banks or whatever they may have to do. And then in a month, we decide if we allow you the year or 6 months. I think that would be a fair compromise for them to, one, get their finances in order, and two, for us to look at the true possibility of this becoming repaired, depending on if they have the financial means or not.
I'd agree with that.
But now I say that, I'll preface this, ideally, we want to look for that 6-month window, ideally, right? But if you come to us and say, well, the financing just isn't working out, then at that point, we can possibly look at, what timeline we want to do.
And one thing I wanted to add to it, my name's Jake Pulis. I'm involved in this in so much as that I'm the lending institution. They paid off the building today. So short of the paperwork that the attorney has to get done, that part's taken care of. But the question I had is specifically, what is required to abate the problem? Specifically, what does the city require at this stage?
I'd have to defer that to Elise.
And like we've said before, the building is unsecured, the windows aren't in it, it has no roof on the back, no wall on the back, it has to be structurally sound and enclosed.
So, first order of business, I assume, is to secure the building.
Right.
So no one can get into it.
Right.
Right? That's the stuff that doesn't require much for financing. I think that's the stuff that they've already started. And I think it is completely reasonable for the council to expect that that portion of it be completely done before next month's meeting. That demonstrates a good faith effort that they intend to complete it. The roof fell in the 90s with a fire. So unfortunately, the people involved here just had this happen under their watch. It's not to say that it's important to note that the property hasn't deteriorated under their ownership. It's been delayed in basically their inability to, or rather their unwillingness to want to go into debt up to their eyeballs for it. The hope was a little bit at a time, and obviously this accelerates the time frame. But if the first order of business is to abate the problem of accessibility to the building, to make it safe, I think that's something that can be taken care of in a month. I don't think that's at all unreasonable. The roof, just as part of the construction project, is absolutely unreasonable to get done in a month. That's something that needs to wait for fairer weather. And that's the stuff that's going to require the financing. I'm involved in this in so much as until the paperwork is done, apparently my name is on the deed because I was listed in this, whether I had any control of it or not.
No, and that's good to know that, again, pending some paperwork, you guys are the deed holders.
The whole idea behind that was that it's considerably easier to secure financing when you own the building.
Sure.
Right?
And the other point you made too is, the building, the roof fell in the 90s. One thing the council's made a very deliberate effort on in the last 3 or 4 years, and through Elise and other city staff, is really enforcing the ordinances that we've kind of let slide a lot in the past. By no one's fault, but just I think we all kind of came together and say, okay, we just got to start enforcing these. And yes, it is a bummer that you guys are within this era of the enforcement.
And that's all good. One thing I would ask of the council is, please take a look at the satellite images of the property and find that on that property, or adjacent to that property, rather, there's a small structure owned by the railroad. It's a dilapidated building that's falling down, and it needs to be addressed in the same way this building is being addressed. It doesn't matter if it's difficult to deal with the railroad or not, fair is fair. It's immediately adjacent, it's a dilapidated structure, and it needs to be removed. And it cannot be their responsibility to remove them. They don't own the property. That would help to clean up the property most certainly. But
And so much as I'm involved in a limited capacity, that's my 2 cents worth anyway. But I think it's completely reasonable to expect that in a month's time, the building's secure. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Right, and going off what Mr. Peeles just stated, we've got that,
That's fine.
I might have not worded it when we wrote this exactly like that, but that was what I was talking about with the building permit and the material necessary. That's what that's for, is to get the building secured.
And the only reason I'm jumping in is I read the proposal, and it's better to list the timeframe. The most important part from a safety aspect is to get the building sealed, to get it secured. That can be accomplished quickly. It's a concrete block structure. It can't deteriorate over time because it's exposed to the weather. It hasn't for the last 25 years. But with that said, I have to believe that the council's willing to work with them because the city has a vested interest in seeing standing and usable buildings that generate tax revenue rather than empty lots.
Oh, of course, just like, Councilman Talbot mentioned, we're much more willing to work with property owners, when they come to us, address the issue, we just talk about it, much more. And of course, your point of vested interest, we don't want to obtain buildings and then, auction them off like we did earlier in the meeting. We'd rather, property owners just take responsibility for their property and do what they need to do to meet our standards. And it sounds like you guys are willing to do that.
Absolutely.
Again, we just wanna make sure we're all on the same page with timelines and stuff like that, so, that's all we're really hashing out at this point, so.
But I like, I'm complimenting you on doing that, because as you said, I've driven by that for years, and, I've often wondered what's happening, so, it's come to the focal point, and you guys, working on it, and, just keep the city informed on what's going on, because, a month, this is February and March, I mean, there's a lot that happens weather-wise.
Right.
And, just as long as, the city inspector and the city staff are informed, I mean, their word is absolutely fine as far as I'm concerned, because they let us know what's going on, so I have no problem with it myself, so I compliment you for going ahead with it.
So we're gonna meet in 30 days?
Yeah, I'd propose we readdress this at the second meeting in March. So like 2 meetings from now.
Okay.
Hopefully by then, you'll know whether or not
We'll know by
financing is
then for
available.
Financing or not.
And then we can also look at the
You'll
accessibility
know how you're
issues.
going then with your financing, and by then you may have it sealed up.
So
I
you're
guess
just gonna
we'll
move the
see,
table
so.
it for 2 meetings?
I would prefer tabling it for 2 meetings.
Yeah.
So that's what you need to
And then,
motion.
but then at that point, we should have a yes, no on financing, so there should be no gray area on financing. I guess that's the expectation I put on you, and the expectation on us to be willing to make a solid decision 2 meetings from now.
But if something happens, you have to make sure that you inform the city.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
in case something comes up, unforeseen at this particular date and time, at least keep the city informed what's going on,
So if we end up securing financing in, 2 weeks from now, I'll let you, let the council know that, hey, we've got financing, and then lay out our plan. Will we have to reattend another meeting for that?
Not necessarily have to attend, but it's always in your best interest
Okay.
just in case there's a oddball
We
question.
like having people come.
Yeah, we'd prefer
Hey,
it.
get on
We
T-
enjoy seeing
get on
it.
TV at Webster City.
But,
Would
yeah.
at that point require written commitment, visual commitment?
I'm just requiring them to have a financial means to do what the city's requiring them to do. Whether,
Yes.
yeah,
So that's the question. You want a written commitment from the lending institution that the financing is in place, rather than just an oral verification from
sure.
them that it's
Or a bank statement. I don't care what it is, as long as there's financial means,
Well, it doesn't, it just means that if you say you've got the finances, and
Right.
then we say, well, we'll
We're-
give you 6 months, and.
Yeah, and if you
get
don't have it done, you
but-
don't have it done,
But so it doesn't really matter about the letter or not,
Right.
because we'll
Yeah,
be holding you to a time.
So, good thing to clarify, though. What I'm asking, though, is to reconvene in a month for them to give us the answer they have financing or not. Where they're getting that from, I don't really care, because then we're gonna say, okay, then you have 6 months, because we're all in agreement that 6 months should be plenty of time to do that with the financing. And if not, then we go down the path with lease with the municipal infractions, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that, okay, so that's what I'm putting out there.
So if probably the best thing is if you, if you secure financing, and then you can get in touch with the lease, give her another letter, and and put your new proposal up, because you'll know then, you know, what you're likely to be able to do, I guess. Because obviously you have to work on your proper business, not just your own building. So, keep income coming in at the same time, so, yeah.
So Logan, you're gonna motion to table this item till the March 18th meeting? That would be the second meeting of
Yes.
March.
With the expectations I laid out.
Is there any other questions?
That meet with council, I mean, what we've talked about, I mean, you're satisfied? Yeah. Okay. Now, we're legal, so,
You're good,
yeah,
thank you.
yeah.
Thanks, guys, for coming out.
Thank you.
That's my motion, right? To table it
Second.
till
To
this
table it, too.
second meeting in March, pending the information they come back with. We'll decide where we want to handle it from then, but yeah.
So with an answer on financing or,
Second.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved.
Thanks.
Thank you.
D, reports and recommendations of officers, boards and commissions. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item 1, motion to accept and place on file city manager January reports, electric, wastewater, water, electric year-to-date and water year-to-date. Code enforcement, a motion on to accept and place on file the police department January report. Motion to accept and place on file the fire department January report. Motion to accept and place on file the Hamilton County Solid Waste Commission February agenda packet.
I move to approve 1 through 4 collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion approved. Any other?
The only thing I mentioned about the Youth Advisory Commission, it sounds like the chairperson, I should say, Brianna Luke, of the Youth Advisory Commission is working with you for an ad hoc committee for the design of the Frisbee
Right,
golf course.
she said she found 2 high school
Yeah.
students that will help with the design of the back nine.
Oh, very good, and that's going to be a collaboration with Parks and Rec as well?
Right.
Awesome. No, I'm excited to see that, so. Good deal. Oh, and by the way, at the last Youth Advisory Commission, it wasn't an official meeting, only a couple came, but we met with those University of Iowa students, and they pulled them with the group working on the Parks and Rec stuff. They pulled them the same questions they've been pulling the community with, and the Youth Advisory Commission members were very engaged, and I think the University of Iowa students took a lot from their input, being their age demographic and who they are, so that was great.
Thanks to the scouts for coming in tonight. Future
guys-
scouts. and
did you guys learn
present
anything?
scouts and-
No? Yeah, a lot of stuff, isn't there?
All right, call for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.